Alright guys, what is up? This is your girl, Bofina1, bringing you guys another YouTube video. So I know as most of you have already seen, the E3 convention that's going on with Xbox and PlayStation. I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about my thoughts and some of the things that I think about the E3 PlayStation and, the showcase and how it looked and, just a couple of the games that I thought were really great. I'm not going to go through all the games, obviously, because, it was so many of them, but I'm going to cover a few of the games that I think are better, and the ones that I guess when I saw them I just felt a certain type of emotion. So let's get started. So the first one is God of War. And I have never played a God of War game. I have never, played their, the series, the collection. But I kid you not, that trailer was so graphical. I mean, it's the God is supposed to be the father, and that's supposed to be his child. And he's trying to teach him, how to become, I guess, a better arrow shooter and everything. And they end up, they're kind of walking through, they're trying to hunt this deer. And then after a while, they end up going to this massive monster where the dad's like, son, shoot him. This is your chance to prove to me. And, he ends up missing and shooting his dad because his dad is a god. It doesn't actually affect him. But just that whole scenery, that fighting scene, it was a really short demo. And I just thought the music, the orchestra, that they were using to kind of build up to those moments was just outstanding. It was great. I enjoyed it very much. It was fun, and it made me want to play the game. I've never played God of War, but just from watching that trailer made me want to play the game or go back to PlayStation 3 and play the previous ones and then move my way up to this one. So next, talk about Days Gone. Days Gone, it's kind of like a story game. It kind of seems like this guy who's kind of on his own, and he ends up either losing his girlfriend or his wife, and he talks about how he misses, long nights and rides with her and different things. It kind of made me feel a little bit like The Last of Us, like almost like a sequel to The Last of Us, and how, everyone is gone and it's you guys are the last, of the few. Everyone's turned into a zombie or, some sort, and I kind of felt like that was, what it was kind of speaking to. I kind of got that feel. I'm not quite sure if it's a game that I would necessarily be crazy to want to pick up and I'd be super excited to get, but it does seem like a pretty good game for the most part. I have to kind of wait and see as it keeps progressing, but overall the graphics, like I said, the scenery and everything is just, it's kind of like pushing its way up. Things are kind of really moving graphically, and I thought were, really good. Next is the Horizon. Now, Horizon made me literally jump out of my seat. That game it just looked so good. So basically, it's like this female, role character. So she's like the main character, and they're kind of like in. I went to the middle of nowhere, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of the series kind of reminded me a little bit of Lion King. You're kind of out and about in this area, and you have these robot dinosaurs that you kind of control. And she ends up finding this one that's been corrupted. And there's one that's corrupted, and he's trying to corrupt the other ones that are not corrupted. So you kind of get in this massive boss. So this is what I'm talking about, the demo that they were showing us. And it was just awesome. I mean, she was like throwing these ropes, knocking him down, getting him to stay down. And it was just this whole massive movement. And then she made this robot dinosaur monster, whatever. She beat him, and then she made him her pet. So that was awesome. And I think it's great that, we have more female leading roles or action. And like I said, there's only been a couple, like Tomb Raider. She's kind of like a leading, female role. But this one, I felt it was she got it all, So I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's great. The everything in it just looked really, really good. Detroit Become Human, and this game kind of gave me a little bit of feeling of Heavy Rain. And for those who don't know what Heavy Rain is, it's kind of like a Telltale game basically, where you kind of go through this story, you do different things, maybe different missions or live different people's lives, and basically the choices that you make will determine your outcome in your life basically. So things that happen, so if you saw in the E3 preview, basically it was kind of like this robot that wanted to kill this girl, and this is your I guess I want to say he kind of seemed like a robot, I'm not sure, and you were basically trying to convince him to not jump off of the building and kill the girl, and hopefully save both of them, but more than importantly lock up that guy and try to save the little girl. And whatever choices and things that you do will determine the end result. And I think that was just one mission. It's different things. You're kind of like an agent trying to do multiple different things. So I felt like that was outstanding. That was great. I enjoyed Heavy Rain when I played on the PlayStation 3. I enjoyed Life is Strange. So I like games that are kind of like that, Telltale games like that. So I actually am looking forward to this game. I think it'll be pretty good. I may not get it, maybe if it's at $60, I may wait a little bit, but overall I thought it was pretty solid for the most part. I was not really too crazy about the whole VR selection, so I'm kind of skipping over that. I don't really have anything against the VR selection, but I'm not a big fan of the whole, you know, you have like these things on your, you know, on your eyes and you're kind of like walking around the 3D virtual. It's not bad, but it's just not for me. So we're just going to kind of move past that whole section. But not least was the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And I kind of felt like what they showed was a little bit much. And what I mean by that is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, it's like you're in space. You're like in this galaxy type world and you're moving around and, you know, you basically have you have zero gravity. So you're constantly moving and you're constantly like in the air, you know, you're in space. So you have zero gravity. And I just kind of felt like that is not really the right approach that Call of Duty should be going to. Call of Duty should really be trying to go back to boots on the ground, which is why I believe the Call of Duty 4 Remastered is going to end up doing a lot better. I think they need to go back to that and forget about this whole futuristic jumping around thing. A lot of people don't like it. And I think it's sad that they're making people, in order to get Call of Duty 4 Remastered, you have to buy Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So it's like a way for them to make you buy what you really want, but also buy their next product. And a lot of people are going to do it. Like, I'm still probably going to end up buying Infinite Warfare because I just like Call of Duty. But me personally, I just kind of feel like it's like a gimmick, you know? And for the most part, I really don't want to get Infinite Warfare. It just didn't look that great. It just, I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us when they come out with more and more as it gets closer. We're still so many months off from it, so maybe things will get better as we get closer and closer and closer. But overall, if I had to give, you know, E3 for Sony, like PlayStation, I would give it easily probably like close to a 10 out of 10 or like a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was great. I heard otherwise. I didn't get a chance to watch the Xbox one, but I heard other things about it. A lot of people said that it didn't seem as organized. It didn't seem quite as good, but the PlayStation was on point. The orchestra was great, you know, in terms of like when things were building up, like in God of War, the orchestra was like, you know, and it was cool. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. So I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was like an hour. I think I watched it was like an hour, a little bit over an hour. But overall, I mean, it didn't feel like it was an hour because they kept constantly showing you more and more games. And that's what you want. I didn't want a whole lot of, you know, chitter chat. I wanted more showing of gameplay than anything. So I thought they did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed it. There are quite a few games. There's even more. I just obviously can't go through all of them because, you know, we would be here forever. But it was a really good show. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel as well as don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Bofina1. That's BOFINA1. And on Twitch at twitch.tv/Bofina1. And on Facebook at Bofina1. And let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section about the E3 for the PlayStation. And are you guys interested in me kind of showing you guys or talking to you guys a little bit more about the Xbox one? I didn't watch Xbox because obviously I'm, you know, not Xbox. I don't have an Xbox console. Never have I ever owned one, nor did I really plan on buying one. So if you guys want to hear my opinions, just let me know if you guys actually want to hear my thoughts on, you know, the Xbox, E3, you know, convention, or Microsoft, whatever. And so I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace, Fan Army.